Hey everyone, CWD Music Reviews here. I am CWD, and this is actually not going to be a review, but in a way a music review of my experience with the Shaky Knees Music Festival in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, Centennial Park specifically. This is day one, like I said, Friday. I went with my brother to Centennial Park, and the first band we saw was Beach Slang. Uh, they're pretty neat. They're pretty neat. A punk band, indie rock type band. Though I can't say I was like super into them, but they were a decent starter. I wasn't really too fond of the lyrics, but the stage banner was cool. It was funny. He was definitely warming the crowd up. Next up, we had Craig Finn. If you're not in the know, he's the front man of this alternative rock band called The Hold Steady that a lot of people like a lot. Apparently, he has a solo career, and I did not know this until just now, like right before he played. So I decided, okay, let's check this guy out. Since I was pretty much hanging around the Piedmont stage, and I'll share with you my vitriol about that in a minute. But yeah, he was cool. It was definitely some weird type lyricism and like some backed by some excellent instrumentation. Not excellent instrumentation, but like really good instrumentation. Yeah, by the way, I'm not editing this video either. So, he apparently has a new album out coming out in September. I can't remember the name, but I'll have to look that up, certainly. I don't know if I'm going to review it or not come September, but if September turns out to be largely silent in terms of album releases, then yeah, I probably might. Then after that, I stuck around. I had to endure like the front bottoms being played from the other side of the adjacent field, since they played on stages that were like set up next to each other, and I'm not really a front bottoms fan. To me, they kind of sound like commercialized Andrew Jackson Jihad in a way. I don't know. But I stuck around on the stage for Baroness, and they slayed. They absolutely destroyed that set, and I love it. What was cool was that it wasn't just because they played songs off of Purple. I mean, they played most of Purple. If they only the only tracks on Purple they didn't play were "Try to Disappear" and that closing snippet thing. But they also played some tracks off of Green and Yellow and Green. They played a track off of Blue. I think they played a couple tracks on Blue. Maybe it was just one track off of Blue. They played a track off of Blue, and they closed out with a track off of Red, which really makes me want to give Red and Blue a better chance than I've been giving it, because Yellow and Green was the album that got me into Baroness, and Purple being my favorite Baroness record. And with that being said, I'm definitely gonna have to give their discography a better listen. Another discography I'm gonna have to give a better listen is Against Me, certainly. Yeah, they came out, and I was slightly perplexed when I saw Laura Jane Grace. I think that's her name. Correct me if I'm wrong. But when I saw her walk out, it was certainly kind of perplexing. I wasn't like shocked by it, since I already knew what was going on with that band for the past 2-3 years. But everyone else was just like looking at each other like, dude, what is that? Is that a woman? What is that? Even my brother, he looked at me like, yeah. But they did a good job. They're probably my least favorite of the ones that I enjoyed a lot, but certainly they did a really good job. I can't say I've been a fan of Against Me. I don't really know much of their songs, but they did a good job. I'm definitely gonna have to give some of their albums a chance, as well as apparently they have a new record along the way. She said it was done, so I'll give that a try. One little caveat, though. She made this really clever clever satirical comment about the whole thing with going on with North Carolina. I thought she was going to completely ignore it entirely, but since she is a trans woman, this was going to be something that touched her heart, so I guess she just had to mention it. But she said that in relation to that, she says that she and her band have been to every single truck stop in America. I don't know if that's true or not, but it probably feels like it to them. And every bathroom that they've been to had a lot of racist, sexist, homophobic, whatever type of vile shit all written all over the bathrooms. This tells her that there are some really vile people in this world, some really racist, misogynistic, and homophobic, and just outright Donald Trump-esque people in the world. And these people are using the same restrooms as she is. This is dangerous, and she doesn't feel safe. These people use the same restroom as their children. So she said until something is done about it, she will continue to shit and piss outside like a fucking dog. Now, those are her words. I thought that was really clever. That piece of banter right there. Next up, we pretty much just endured the Struts being played out in the background somewhere for Ghost to come out, and what they did in about an hour was everything I wanted Ghost to do within an hour. Just give us an occult and really theatrical affair, and they did with flying colors. Me and my brother definitely enjoyed the shit out of Ghost's set, especially since they played a good chunk of songs out of Meliora, like From the Pinnacle to the Pit, He Is, that harp. They even were able to work in the interlude tracks, which was cool. They did Retribution, Mummy Dust. Yeah, it was really cool. I especially love how at the end he asks if this is the first time, who else is this the first time they've been to a Ghost show, and there was a lot of people, and he pointed at one person in particular. He was like, "Did you like it?" And she's like, "Yeah." It's like, well, what we like to do is usually end with the same song every single set, and a lot of people think of it as boring or predictable, but we like to think of it as an orgasm. And he goes on and on about how they've known he's gotten the band's pretty much gotten to know the audience for quite a minute now, and they're sweaty, they getting intimate, and what better way to end this off but with an orgasm? And he pretty much goes into religion, saying that the orgasm was written by Satan, and since they Satan worshipping people, or the lyrics are really Satan worshipping. There's just no better way to end this affair off other than just an orgasm. I thought that was really cool, and they played. I can't remember the song. It was like, but the chorus was, "We're coming together," or something like that. If you know what the name, if you remember what the title of the song is, then do leave that in the comments so I can listen to a studio version of that if such a thing exists. So that was really cool, but my big complaint with all four of those was the fact that there are these teenage girls just waiting for the 1975, and I didn't catch the 1975. I'm sure they put on a decent show, better than Jane's Addiction, but I'll get to that in a minute. But there's legitimate people that showed up just so they can get the best spots possible to look at the performances, to watch and experience them, and these people are just like sitting up front of the stage, just waiting for the 1975, not at all acknowledging Ghost, Baroness, and Against Me, and anyone else really, except for maybe Beach Sling, I guess. That's really unfair, and it's times like that where I wish that at festivals they just filter out, they tell everyone to like, they kick everyone out of that particular stage just to get in line for when the band actually is ready, so when they are ready they can just, get there first come first serve, I guess, instead of just being squatters. But I guess that's a win-lose situation there. But I really wish that could be the but I really wish that was the worst thing I could say about today. Not to say that today was bad. It was good, really good. But that's not the worst thing I can say about today. But I'll get to that in a minute. So after that, I was able to catch a little over half of Slowdive's set. A good chunk of. I was able to catch a good chunk of the tracks. Like around the time, I guess I think her name's Rachel Goswell, the female frontwoman, the female member of the Slowdive. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a lot of corrections, but this is pretty much kind of a first reaction kind of processing of what just happened today. But anyway, yes, Slowdive was really cool. I was able to get to the moment where I guess her electric guitar shocked her a little, so she couldn't really use it for a minute. So that was interesting. But this set made me want to listen to Souvlaki again, because I don't think I gave Souvlaki the appropriate chance I gave it before. Because when I hear this band perform live, when I watch them just do what they do, it makes me really wonder how it is the production in the studio treats their brand of dream pop and shoegaze. Because each song is because each song has a good idea, it builds, and it climaxes incredibly well. That was each individual song, track for track on this performance, and I thought that was cool, especially the last track, which I don't know any of the tracks really, but the last track though, it was wow, it was spectacular, really. Like how it just goes into this instrumental jam for 5 minutes that just builds and builds and builds. It's just yeah. I turned to my brother and I just moved my hands like this, you know. So so to conclude, and I really think that I should have just concluded the night there, but no, I decided to stick around for Jane's Addiction. I like their first two records. Ritual de Habitual was really cool, and hearing that was the album they were going to be playing in full, I thought, okay, this could go well. It did not. It disappointed me to the point where I, honest to God, couldn't watch the whole thing. I mean, Dave Navarro still got it with guitar. It's just everything else that's either not standing out or it's just bad-ish. Like the vocals. I never really saw, what's his name, Perry some or other? I never really saw his vocals on records like Nothing Shocking and Ritual de Habitual as highlights of their album, what made the band, and to just hear him not even try, that really pisses me off, certainly. I wasted about 30 minutes of my fucking life just watching this train wreck. And really, honestly, the only great thing I could say about it was Dave Navarro's guitar. He still solos incredibly well. He still keeps the pace of the track incredibly well. He still keeps riffs interesting. It's just everything else that sucked, or just pales in comparison to the band that Jane's Addiction used to be. So I will say this: if you are thinking about seeing Jane's Addiction live, go at your own risk, because I did not like what was going on there. Plus, there was some exotic dancers that added nothing to the aesthetic value of the performance. I was better off. I would have been better off watching the 1975, which that sucks. If the strategy for Friday, assuming there's a conspiracy behind it, was to get Jane's addiction to suck in order for people to move and gravitate towards 1975, it didn't work for me. I mean, when my brother turns to me, he says, "I don't like this." That tells me something, because not to say that he and I see eye to eye on musical preferences and whatnot, but still, that said something to me, because there was a point where I was just telling myself, you know what? I don't like this either. And what really did it for me was it occurred to me that there was going to be an encore. And I'm thinking to myself, an encore of this? What? Why? So yeah, that was basically my thoughts about Shaky Knees, Day 1, 2016. Good for the most part. I certainly enjoyed today quite a bit, especially since 4 bands in a row pretty much slayed particularly well. But Jane's Addiction, they sucked. And that's really my only complaint, other than all the teenage girls that were waiting for the 1975. But if you did, yeah. But if you were a spectator to Day 1 of Shaky Knees 2016, somehow, what were your thoughts on it? Did you like any of the bands I mentioned? Did you see any bands that I didn't get to see? And if you saw Savages, how were they? I missed them. I hate myself for doing it. And what are your thoughts on like any of these bands in general, or music festivals in general, I guess? The CW Music Reviews here, signing off.